He has given you guys all the details. Really, I didn't
Luxury
know.
and mayhem, man.
This is the mayhem.
We bring the real truth.
You are getting the mayhem right now.
If you want the truth, if you can handle it, come to Cali and Luxury and Mayhem. All right.
And we are live. What's up, people? We are back in the saddle again. This is episode, I think we're on 13 or 14 of the Luxury and Mayhem podcast. If you haven't noticed, the scenery has changed just a little bit. Due to the popularity that we've been having, we decided that we wanted to upgrade our podcast space, and we moved the space to something that was just a little bit more homely, has a little bit more of the accoutrement that we need to have our illustrious guests on and keep them comfortable and keep their family members and everyone comfortable here at the Luxury and Mayhem team. So you're going to be seeing a lot of new stuff coming as far as the set, and we've got a couple different looks that we're going to be playing with here, as we get used to things. Today is we got things set up quick as we could to get Carlos in, because he's such a great guy and we didn't want to miss our opportunity, and we've been trying for such a long time. So with that being said, if you do not know who I'm sitting across from today, this man is the 6-time winning #1 MMA announcer in the world, voted in the world by Fight Magazine. He is a martial arts Hall of Fame inductee. He is also the voice of brave fighting. He is also the voice of epic fighting. This man wears so many hats, it's hard to keep them all in line. He needs a boudoir for all of his hats that he wears. If you don't know what I'm talking about the roaring lion, Carlos Kremer.
Hey,
what's going on, Carlos? How you doing today, buddy?
Good. It's a real honor to be on. I know we've been trying to make it happen for a while now.
Yeah.
But we have life in the way, but we always had that mission of getting it done.
Yeah,
so
we did.
I'm glad I'm here in studio.
We're glad you're here to christen the new space and to just bring that new energy into it. So we appreciate you, brother, for coming out. I know that you've got an extremely busy schedule with all that you've got going on. Let's talk about that. So right off the bat, there's so many things we've got to talk about, but right off the bat, I know that coming in September, you are going to make a record for announcing in over 28 countries. It's 28 countries right now, but you will be breaking the current record held by the UFC with 29 countries that you have visited to do MMA announcing.
Yeah.
How is that? How does that feel?
Man, it's mind-boggling, because you think about it, Brave Combat Federation has done this in under 7 years, where it took the UFC 30 years plus to do that. So France will be our 29th country.
Wow, what a place.
It's just been unbelievable. This has been a whirlwind. Brave Combat Federation has been such a relief on the landscape of mixed martial arts worldwide. They're just... His Highness Sheikh Khalid bin Ahmad Al Khalifa is a fighter. The president, the Hawk Mohammed Shahid.
His Highness is a fighter.
His Highness is a fighter. Undefeated in MMA, undefeated in boxing. He's an iron.
Do you think people let him win because he's royalty?
I tell you what, I've announced his fights, and he has rough guys. He doesn't want to take it easy.
Okay.
His boxing match, he had a really tough Russian a boxer come in. I mean, He's a guy who leads by example, and that's why everybody loves him so much. He's fighters taking care of fighters, and from different promotions, it's a big difference. Like if you go to a fight, you travel to the Kingdom of Bahrain, 10,000 miles away, you train for 3 months, you take a doctor's physical 2 days before you're going to fight. He comes up and he says, there's a vision problem. I'm not clearing you to fight. The prince says, you know what? You came. It's not your fault. You're getting paid anyway.
That is awesome.
That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about.
That is awesome.
When it's loyalty like that, and their mindset is different than mindsets out here, they want to go to a country, first of all, where other promotions won't go. Okay. And they go and they find that talent. So if there's a Rocky story out there and this guy's training hard in a basement in Pakistan,
diamond in the rough,
and he is just knocking people out, we want that guy.
Got it.
We want a national hero that a country can then make their own and then make that country more popular within the world, their economy better. So when Brave comes, like a lot of other promotions, they'll do an event and they're gone, right? We'll see you whenever we're back, if we're back. Brave wants to establish a long-term relationship with that country, go back and back and back.
Because it also gives the fighters in that country something to look forward to, right? Now they get to fight for a top-notch promotion and get the exposure and the recognition that they want. And in some of those smaller, hard-to-reach places that are, may not be politically correct, they can go in there and make some things happen. And there's some beasts coming out of there.
Man, we were talking a little earlier, Brave Combat Federation has had such guys like Hamzat Chimaev, who's a complete monster.
Absolutely.
Former Brave
scared of the beard, but scared of the
fighter.
beard.
We were talking, that's the one gentleman, and I'm happy to call him a friend. He's the one guy that we're saying, wow, that would be a really difficult matchup.
Definitely for anybody. He already is.
Yeah.
And just the attitude and the mindset that he brings to the ring, there's no joking. There's no joking. There's no room for error. If you leave room for error, 100% he's going to exploit it. And
if you leave your body that he can touch it at all, it's pretty much over.
Yeah, it's 9/10 possession, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's his. He owns it. So guys like Johnny Walker, the 6'6" Brazilian sensation, Ilia Topuria, Luana Pinheiro, Mateus Nicolai, all these guys, Muhammad Makayev.
A lot of people even realize that they came out of Brave.
Yeah, and they will. Dana's, on the radar. Brad Katona, who just won his last Ultimate Fighter fight just really recently. He's on it. Trevor Wells is on it.
Oh, wow. Trevor. Yeah,
from Dan Henderson's. So
Temecula, shout out to Temecula.
Shout out to Temecula, man, making it happen.
Yeah.
And Dan Henderson, one of the all-time legends just the greatest guy in the world.
Yes.
But Trevor is definitely a shooting star, and he's going to be there one day really soon. So my whole thing was getting in was like, I want to give the athletes the exposure they deserve. Correct. I didn't care about anything else. So it's a good kind of notion to, hey, follow your passion in life and things will come together. Jason Stewart gave me the opportunity, J Money.
Shout out to Jason. Yes.
The man, he gave me the opportunity. I was commentating for Epic.
Okay.
And Sal, who's an amazing announcer, wasn't able to make an event or two. And so I talked to Jason. I said, Jay, I can do this. And then it took off from there, and it allowed me the opportunity with Brave Combat Federation.
And how many years ago was that?
That was almost 7 years in September ago.
7 years, okay.
So I was with Jason from, I don't know, me and Harvey were there since like Epic 8, something like that.
Yeah, we're on Epic 53, I believe, coming up. Yeah, so that's a long time
ago. But Jason's been incredible at bringing the whole martial arts community together.
In San Diego,
and we had talked, about the passing of our dear friend, referee Ryan Spink.
Yes. Shout out to Ryan Spink and his family once again. We said that you're going to hear his name numerous times. He was very instrumental in the building of this company and the glove that now it represents camo in all of California. So anytime that you put on a Luxury and Mayhem glove and you're fighting in California, think about Ryan Spink, because he was literally the man that made that happen and gave us the opportunity to make a camo glove and to be the premier glove maker for camo. So we love you, Ryan. We love your family. If there's anything that we can do, please reach out to us. We are here for you guys, all of you.
And shout out to his wife, Stacy, and our whole camo family and all the mixed martial arts family. David Dankin, his best friend.
Correct.
It's been an incredibly challenging time for us all. We love you, Ryan. We love you, Stacy, and we're here for you worldwide. MMA has joined together because Ryan was also in Serbia doing reffing the IMF competitions.
Oh, wow, yeah.
So we were in Serbia with Brave. So he got to work with a ton of referees who work worldwide and judges and things. So he's admired, loved, and missed by all. We love you, Ryan.
We love you, Ryan. That being said, man. Okay, so you got into Epic. You said you were commentating. Now, you have a background in martial arts, obviously. You were just recently inducted into the Martial Arts Hall of Fame. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And what was your start? How did you get into martial arts?
Well, I'm a, communications major from college.
Okay.
I always loved like you interviewing, anything to do with promoting someone else's career, talking to people, getting, the latest buzz on what's going on. And I was drawn immediately to martial arts. I started out as a boxer.
Okay.
My dad was a Golden Gloves boxer
Wow.
in Chicago. He started me out, and then I went into the Marine Corps. I was a captain in the Marine Corps.
Wow.
Love that. Played
Okay.
football at UC Davis.
What did you do in the Marine Corps, if you don't mind me asking? Because they're going to want to know.
Yeah. Well, my biggie that I'm the most proud of, I was a series commander at MCRD for over 3.5 years. So
Okay.
I led the Marines that were trying to be Marines. I led them into training and through that whole 13-week cycle. Then we would get like 7 days off, and we'd have to repeat the whole 13 weeks again. It was just cycle after cycle after cycle.
Now, little birdie told me that you share an accomplishment in the military as well, being one of only a few people to ever successfully escape SEER school, which is an amazing feat in itself. I don't know if you guys know what SEER school is, but it stands for Search, Evasion, Rescue, and what is it? It's evasion, rescue, and there's one more.
Survival, evasion, rescue, and escape.
Escape, which
That
is
you
what,
even knew
he
that,
did. I knew
Callie,
it.
that was amazing.
I was a rescue swimmer in the military.
Oh,
I was a
awesome.
rescue swimmer and an air crewman in the Navy. So SEER school is something I am familiar with. I was at Warner Springs.
Yeah, that's where I was, Warner Springs.
And I do not know how in the life of me, I made it, well, there's no sense of time, but I would think that I made it maybe 10, 15 minutes. After being captured? After the escape to being captured. I don't understand. Please, I know you can't discuss too much of that because it's still very top secret stuff that they do there.
Right.
But can you kind of break that down for us?
Man, it was, Callie, that you were there too. That's another bond that we have. It was tough. So first they set you free, right? And you have a partner. We weren't caught, so they turn on a siren after the days, and you come in. They were asked. I was a lieutenant at the time, and they asked, "Hey, who's the highest ranking officer?" And there was a lieutenant colonel raised his hands, and they took him and immediately. And I thought they were going to give him special treatment or whatever. Slapped him.
Oh yeah.
Dragged him on the ground in front of all of us to make a point. Make a point.
This is what you signed up for.
Took us to our little cell, which was about what, 3 by 5? Yeah, 3 by 4.
Yeah, and barely enough to turn over on your knees.
You have to sit with your knees like this, legs crossed, and your hands like this. And if your knees hit the wall, they would take you out and beat you. Yep. And it was like a whole village of this, right?
Yes.
So there was all these
you and a bunch of
openings.
People. Yeah.
So, and you had a Folgers can to defecate in and pee in, and
you guys are getting. He's telling you way more than I even thought he would tell you. This is some real stuff here.
This is I
had some mental issues after I left SEER school. It's very deep.
They recommend seeking treatment for a few months afterward because you have some nightmares and things like that.
It is very intense.
So I was like, and plus, let us say that while you're doing this during the day, you're doing absolutely nothing unless they're working you or doing whatever. But they have music, and for us, it was German music going nonstop, full blast.
We got babies.
1, 2, 3, boots working down again. 1, 2, 3, and it's so loud you can't even think to yourself.
We got babies.
So man, you talk about finding like an inner angel within yourself that you have to say, man, I got to find peace. So in my head, I've also done extensive comedy career too. So I would like think of the funniest thing that I could bag on the guards for or something, in my head. So we would keep that levity going, which kept my sanity going,
kept you in touch with reality.
With reality, and I knew that I found that there was a hole in the fence, about like 70 feet away from a place where they used to line us up to beat us, and so I knew that there was something coming that night again because they always had something special. Yeah, and this night,
What's on the menu?
It's like your movie of the night is you're waterboarded.
All right, 3 beat down.
Yeah, So next thing I know, I'm like, oh, and by the way, they put a potato sack over your head so you can't see anything. So I had turned the potato sack around. I ripped a hole in it just very slightly so I could see.
Just enough.
And that kept my sanity too. Because if you're just, You can't see the music, the people screaming, getting beaten, right? You're not getting
It's
fed.
bad.
It's really intense. So I was, you're naked, of course, and I was in line.
God, he is giving you guys all the details. Really, I didn't
Luxury
know.
and mayhem, man.
This is the mayhem.
We bring the real truth.
You are getting the mayhem
So,
right now.
If you want the truth, if you can handle it, come to Cali and Luxury and Mayhem. All right. So anyway, I'm in line to get now waterboarded. They had like a coffin, and they had to, they're taking water into every orifice. And I was thinking, this isn't probably going to work for me, and if I'm ever going to go, if I'm ever going to go, it's now. And I didn't even know if my legs worked, right? Because they don't run you during that time.
You're
just kind of taking cell to cell and all that. So I just tilted my deal. I saw the hole in the fence way down, and I just bolted. And I knew
you took off running while they were beating you.
Took off running. No, I was waiting in line to get waterboarded.
Okay, you were waiting in line. Okay.
So I was, but plus I always knew it was like 4 a.m, and that's when they had their least amount of guards on duty. I think they had like 4 maybe. Where during the day they had like 12, right?
Okay, yeah, he's got guard counts and everything.
There was nothing left else to do, Cali,
true,
right?
True.
So
I think I don't remember. I blacked out so much of that. I don't remember if I even contemplated trying to escape. I was
true.
I was very
That's true. You
I
wouldn't
was
even
very
think that.
overwhelmed. I had friends that had went in before me, that from the aircrew class before me, and it kind of gave me an idea of what to expect. It wasn't even close to being accurate.
Right.
The best
because
tip
when
I
they
got,
told you, you're like, yeah, no problem.
the best tip I got was, if you can, put some beef jerky. Hide some beef jerky in your underwear. Do whatever, because I don't want to eat. I don't want to eat bugs, right? So that worked. I was able to get one piece of beef jerky in before they stripped us.
Good.
So I didn't eat any bugs. I'm happy to say that during my escape phase there was no bug eating.
That's
I
great.
refused.
That's great.
Refused. Okay, so you make the bolt for the hole.
Make the bolt for the hole.
And this is at 4:00 in the morning, so it's like pitch black dark, and you're running with a potato sack on your head.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pitch black dark, ripped that off, went to the hole, squeezed my body through, and boom, I'm gone.
Not that you know where you're going.
No idea where I'm going, and I'm in Warner Springs.
Yeah.
I'm naked and I'm gone.
With a potato sack.
and then it gets to a time where then they're like, okay, this guy's probably not mentally doing that great, and we
got to go get him.
Wandering around. So we have to go get him. So they turned on some kind of siren. They went out and they got me back and took me back.
Willfully, or did they find you?
No, they willfully. They had to turn on a siren,
and you came back. Okay.
Yeah. I was thinking, no, I'm going to hold out, but then I think this thing's probably over.
Because I'm pretty sure if I got out and the siren comes on, I'm ignoring the siren at that point. I'm not going back to the German boot stomps. It's not
exactly. So I'm like thinking, okay, I won. They're like, congratulations, you escaped, all that stuff.
You're like, I'm going home.
We're going to take you back to camp. I'm like, cool. Took me back to camp, and 2 guys beat me. And by
sandwiches.
Beat you, what they do is
open hand.
Well, they were like 265. They were all like 6'4", 6'5", the guards.
All mostly ex-SEALs, Rangers, recon guys.
Yeah, and one guy would take one shoulder, and the other guy would take the other shoulder, and they'd swing you back into a wall. So it would like knock you out. The wind out of you and hurt your back as well, kind of.
Wow.
But it wasn't. It was a wall that had a little give too, so you could kind of like smack and come back. And
that is innovative.
Yeah, they're always thinking.
Yeah, they changed it up. I don't remember the wall. I didn't get the wall, but damn.
This is back in this has to be like 1990 though.
So I went in 97.
97.
97.
There we go.
Yeah, so not too far behind.
Not too far apart.
What made you go into the military?
I just knew I never wanted to, I was going to do the whole college thing. I went to UC Davis, played football there, and I was like, I just don't want to sit behind a desk. Okay. I want to be patriotic. My dad was in the military, other people in the military. I was like, I want to go to a branch that's going to kick ass and have some fun too.
Of course.
And then I went to the Marines.
That's the Marines.
So,
yeah. Just as soon as you said kick ass and have fun, that's Marines. That's by definition. That's all they do.
So
kick ass and have fun.
So that was great. I did 5 years there. Was a series commander at MCRD, and loved it. Was in Okinawa, Japan.
Wow.
All that stuff. Okay. But then got out, and then like so many guys getting out of the military, you're kind of wondering what you're going to do.
Yeah. Because what does your actual military rate translate into in the outside world.
Exactly,
right?
which we need to help more guys with that
Well,
transition.
my job was a lifeguard, rescue swimmer, lifeguard.
You're always employed somewhere.
Yeah,
right?
I can swim. Yeah. That's the one thing I can do, which black people can swim. Okay, we can swim. Very good. I can outswim most people. Yeah, but that when I got out, I was like, what am I going to do? Like, I this doesn't really it's fun when you're in there and jumping out of helicopters and doing the whole nine and you know, sitting behind the guns and getting to fly all the time. But outside, I can't get in a helicopter outside. I'm not going to be cleared for that, you know? So I had to I was in limbo. I didn't have an identity outside of the military.
Right.
So that does a lot to the psyche, especially when you've been so specifically trained to do a few tasks.
Right.
And now those tasks are completely irrelevant.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And kind of you're irrelevant too.
Yeah, you become completely irrelevant. That's how it feels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and a shout out to all our veterans out there. I think
suffering. Yeah.
Yeah. There's 22 veterans a day that are committing suicide. Mm-hmm. So if you can reach out ever to me or Callie, we're here to take your calls or whatever, or talk.
Yes.
Have coffee, man.
I can definitely point you. I have a good veterans representative, a good Veterans Affairs representative. So if you are having any problems obtaining benefits or getting what you need, let me know. I will give you that information. Please reach out to us. We are dead serious about that. If you are out there and you need help, please seek help. If not with us, with someone, because you deserve it.
Definitely. 100%.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was, the military was fantastic. I knew I didn't want to do 20 years of it. I wanted to move on. And, I went into insurance, which I still have my own insurance agency, Kremer Insurance. Okay. And we're here for San Diego, California, auto, home, life, business.
Auto, home, life, everything.
You name it. We can do it. So flips, all of that. But I wanted more, right? There was more to my life that I wanted. It was like, I'm not done yet, right? Okay. And so I started getting into coming to Epic. I was interviewing. My first gig was in the Ventura Fairgrounds. I interviewed Roy Big Country Nelson.
Oh, Big
Probably
Roy.
15 years ago or something. I don't know.
This was right when he was getting ready to go on The Ultimate Fighter?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but I think even before then. Because he was on some circuits and all that. So I knew that's what I wanted to do. And just for the guys who are out there today, if you want it bad enough, do it. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, I wasn't making money, right, Callie?
Sure.
You're not making money initially doing what you love, but I hired my own camera guy, my own editor, and boom, we started Epic TV. And boom, running Epic TV for Jason, getting some exposure there. You know, and the power of social media, man. And Jason does it right as well, incorporating so many professionals together. And shout out to Harvey, because Harvey puts everything together, right?
The glue.
He is the glue. Yes. And he's going to be here any minute.
Yeah, we're waiting on Harvey. He's stuck in traffic. He's also super busy. Trying to get that guy in for a podcast was a task on its own.
Right.
But we got it.
So the Brave opportunity came. I had a podcast and I had Manolo Hernandez on.
Yeah, big Manolo.
And Alex Soto.
Okay.
Two incredible guys. Manolo was matchmaking for Brave at the time.
Wow.
And Alex was working literally like in a VP position with Brave.
Okay.
Getting them all set to.
So Brave had a nice little satellite office here in San Diego.
They did, yeah. And also Pete Williams.
Okay.
Remember him, former fighter?
Yeah.
He was on staff as well. So we had a lot of guys so that the transition was very smooth.
Okay.
And we had him on the show, and I was doing it with my beautiful wife, Tekka, who's an incredible saint who just went through the toughest health problems in her life.
That was one of the reasons we weren't able to get you on. That was happened kind of suddenly, and we're glad to hear that she is doing well.
Shout out to Tekka.
Shout out to Mrs. Kremer.
You're amazing. And so she said to them, "Hey, who's your cage announcer?" And Manolo was like, "I think they have somebody, but let me check."
Okay.
And next thing I know, they set it up. Saw a tape of me or whatever and went with me. Wow. Mohammed Shahid, the Brave president, who carries out His Highness's vision, like harder worker CEO I've never met in my life. Mohammed Shahid, the Hawk, this man has a plan, puts it into action, and makes it happen. So they just streamed a deal with India that they're going to have 300 million viewers from India for all of Brave.
Wow.
Like it's ridiculous how other countries will reach onto Brave and just watching their star fighters. So it's really cool.
I'm glad to hear that the way that he is taking care of the fighters is his first priority.
Right.
I feel like part of the reason we're here and the reason that Luxury and Mayhem is where we are at is because we care about the fighters as well.
Right.
This is a contact sport. You're literally putting everything on the line. There's little to no protection, little to no safety, no health care, none of that setup. These guys are doing it based on their passion and their will to want to win.
Right.
And they need to be treated fairly. We're not in the gladiator days of old where, you can just toss a guy into the ring and watch him die and then we'll just get 15 more.
Right.
Like these guys are making significant money for these organizations, and they deserve their share. And
very good point.
I love to hear that organizations are taking care of their fighters because it gives the next generation of fighters something to look forward to. Right? Hey, I want to go fight for Brave. I want to because they're a dope organization. They take care of their fighters. They take care of the travel. If we're healthy, if we're not healthy, we're first class, all the way top notch.
Yeah.
If I'm putting my life on the line, putting my body on the line, I should at least expect that in return, right?
I agree. So, and we're all here for the fighters, period. I mean, I'd like to say, here for this and that. No, without the fighters, I'm not here. The promotion's not here. And there's no warrior, there's no athlete that trains harder, in my opinion, than a mixed martial artist.
Sure.
I mean, when you're combining all the styles, you're combining you have a nutritionist, you have a strength coach, you have a jiu-jitsu coach, right?
It's way more coaches than a traditional sport.
Yeah, man. These guys, and they're getting paid peanuts. It's getting better, right?
It's like donations.
And,
literally donations.
And it used to be, it was laughable back in the old days, right? So to see now promotions like Epic and what they're doing and bringing on people like Juliana Killer Miller, right? And she's a tough champion. And it's just showing everybody here that we have the blueprint for these young fighters, man. If you really want to make it, we have the best gyms and the best organizations for you to fight in. And we have lead-ins to huge promotions now.
Huge.
So that you can make a living. Cage Warriors.
Epic is a primary feeder for Cage Warriors now that they're in San Diego.
Yeah. And what's great for the fighters is they can make money now on seminars, they can make money on sponsorships, and they can make money fighting. So it used to be if you fought in the UFC, that was it.
That was it. You
had a monopoly on everybody. Now you can fight for whoever you want.
Free agent,
baby. Oh, another guy who's a former Brave, Bubba Jenkins from the PFL.
What? Oh, okay. So
we had absolute monsters.
So what is it like rubbing shoulders with all of these legends, future legends, at such a an infantile stage of their career? Even though, I mean, they're getting to Brave, that's the next level. But as far as professional fighting goes, that's like that's their break-in. Right. What's it like meeting these guys before they ever hit, the world stage?
It's such a privilege. It's such an honor because you see how humble these guys are and how truly dedicated to not only the sport, but to their team and to their friends and everybody. They're doing it, like you said, for the passion. And a lot of these guys, well, most of them that are truly dedicated and driven, they don't have the outside temptation, shall we say, that some American fighters have, right? Yep. These guys are like, no drinking, no sex.
No, they're serious.
No drugs. They train every day 3 times, and I'm in bed by 9.
And it's a communal thing.
It's a communal thing, like with Habib. Habib's trained with His Highness. His Highness runs KHK Team Bahrain.
Wow.
And his head coach is Eldar Eldarov, who's a Brave champion from Dagestan.
Okay.
His best friend, Habib Nurmagomedov.
Wow.
His only loss in fighting, he's like
to his friend
16-1, I think, is to Habib.
Wow.
So like that's how good Eldar is as a head coach for His Highness. So that's the kind of stable that they're bringing in of fighters from Dagestan, from Brazil, from USA. It's just amazing, and the facility out there is just incredible. Too.
So, do you think that Braves' goal is to reach a level where they can just feed to the UFC, or do you think that they're trying to rival the UFC on an international stage?
I think with what Braves Combat Federation is doing, they're focused only on themselves, and they're not even looking to rival anybody. They just want to make their impression on the landscape of mixed martial arts. Somebody asked Muhammad Shahid after the first Brave, go, this is great, but what if you guys' ticket sales don't do well? What if your merchandise doesn't do well? And he answered and he said, we're not here for that. He goes, we're here to make an imprint on mixed martial arts globally.
That's
so
awesome.
he didn't mention anything about money. He didn't mention anything about...
It's not like he needs it.
Right. No, but it's pretty tough to compete against a company that all they want to do is make that imprint. So with that in mind, it's country versus country for worldwide bragging rights. It's bringing out something to where these warriors are taking their nation on their back and their whole country's then involved, right? And like we have a champion from Lebanon, Mohammed Fakhreddin, who's also a PFL guy. But like when he won the Brave, two-time champ, two-division champ, and when he won, like Lebanon went crazy. Right? Yeah. So that's the kind of relationships that they're bringing in, and we're keeping it, and it's really for the purity of mixed martial arts. So it's really amazing. But with that said, when the bell goes off and the fight starts, these guys will literally fight to the death. Oh, yeah. Because when you have His Highness believing in you, Muhammad Shahid believing in you, you're going to do whatever it takes to make it happen. I personally had a widowmaker heart attack. This is a crazy story. 4 days in ICU. I get out of ICU and I tell Tekka, she's like, oh, you can finally come home, honey. I go, baby, pack my bags. I'm going to Abu Dhabi.
Going to Abu Dhabi.
Abu Dhabi, that's where the Brave was.
They cleared me and I'm out.
Actually, they didn't clear me. I didn't ask the doctor.
What?
I said, oh, yeah, thank you. I'm going home and resting.
Just going to the bathroom. I'm going to Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, some crazy, but that was all due to His Highness's loyalty to me. Yeah. Because he grabbed me at one Brave. After a Brave, and my daughter is blind and autistic. Yes. The biggest blessing of my life. I'm so happy. Like, she's my best friend, and it gives me new meaning to life, right? Yeah. New meaning to motivation and living for something. But man, so His Highness said, Carlos, does she see? And I said, Your Highness, thank you. I didn't even know he knew I had a daughter, right? And I was like, Your Highness, thank you so much. No, she's still not seeing. And he goes, I want to help. And I was like, oh my gosh. I mean, tears started coming to my eyes. What do you even say to that? Because they have some things you can do, like stem cell and new out of country things, but it's very expensive. Super. Extremely expensive. There's an eye institute in Germany that's Fedorov Eye Clinic. Wow. Okay. Super cutting edge expensive technology. Yeah. But when he did that, it was like, man, now I know why everybody would die for this man, because I sure as hell would. And I've had some great leaders in my life, but I've never had a leader like this man. It truly changed my life. So I had a hip replacement surgery that got infected, and it blew up in bed. It was like a crime scene, right? So I went to Jordan with a bleeding hip. Got on the flight with a bleeding anybody, hip? Yeah, it bled for about a month. So
are we talking like just a little seep, or are we talking
it was a whole explosion, yeah. So it just bled.
You had no idea that was going to happen. You're just laying in bed and your hip blows?
Well, it was coming up. I knew something was coming to an end. Yeah, wow. Wow. We even went to the doctor, and he's like, no, you're fine. I'm like, are you sure? It's really hot when I touch it, and it's like that big, right?
He's like, so it's okay.
It blew up, and literally like a week, maybe later, I had to fly to Jordan for an event, and I did that. Despite people saying you can get blood clots and all that.
I mean, what happens if something happens to you on the plane?
Yeah,
that's bleeding. A long flight.
It's not recommended.
Yeah,
but anyway, that's kind of the blind faith that I have, because somebody says something like that for my daughter. I'm like, man, and the way he treats everyone from top to bottom. I'm blessed to work with Kirik Janess, who just got a Lifetime Achievement Award from Fighters Only. Nice. He's the OG of MMA. He's done like every record keeping since the beginning. He's mixedmartialarts.com.
Wow.
So he's the official record keeper of every fight in North America.
That's been a long time.
So he's a wealth of information. And
it's like human statistic. Yeah. He knows everything.
And then we have the OG of, we have Irish Thunder, who's the bare knuckle boxing champion of Ireland and MMA undefeated. He's our other commentator, and these guys are amazing.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah, it's a great, in Brave actually will put me down a ramp coming into the shows. So it'll be great. I can just get the crowd fire. They have fire going off and all this stuff.
Yeah.
So it's really, they do things really right. You know,
that's crazy. Like I've been to some of the big productions here, and I've never seen fire. Right. You know what I mean? Like that's crazy. Like that, it's more of a they're making it an event.
Yeah,
like an experience for everyone.
Right,
and that's going to draw in the numbers. Right.
Yeah,
that is awesome.
We had an event in Bahrain, which some people were saying, "Oh, don't do it." We had like a open division, open weight, whatever.
Just
come and let's have a KHK world title belt. And so we got guys from every kind of weight wanting to fight in it.
Yeah.
And they'd fight in a night and then make it happen. But the winner got $100,000.
Wow.
And, this KHK belt is like 14 pounds of gold.
Real gold.
Real gold.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. And it was flown in on a helicopter, landed in the field, and then brought over by security to the stadium. And I'm announcing it, right? I'm like, okay, the chopper's landed, everybody. Okay, he's coming onto the field, right?
Like,
it's like,
Lord.
So they do drama right.
That's big. That's a big deal.
It's like a Bollywood production. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's really cultivating it, and that's what they're not in the MMA business per se. They're in the event business, right? They're in sports. Yeah. So it's really opening up eyes of really how you should run a company.
You should. Yeah, I think MMA has been so archaic for such a long time. Very barbaric. Just
no guidance.
Yeah, no
right?
guidance. You know, the UFC has done a good job, but I think the newer companies, like we're saying, the newer companies are really starting to fine tune the approach and figure out what's working.
Right.
Because it's there. The market is wide open, right? And we're still in the baby stage. I think this is going to be the fastest growing and probably one of the biggest sports of all time. I think it's going to be bigger than football. I think it's going to be bigger than baseball. You've got so many different talents from all over the world.
Right.
It's not just American football players.
Right.
With maybe one guy from, someplace who can run real fast. Or it's a whole team of Americans on basketball and one tall Russian. You know what I mean? Like, this is multiple people coming in from places. Dagestan? Who even heard of Dagestan before MMA came along? Yep. And now they are considered a powerhouse.
Man,
they are putting out people that, considerable people that are making waves in the sport.
And it's the new evolution of the new fighter, right? These guys are now starting at 5 years old and going to MMA academies and camps at 5.
Correct.
So 10 years ago, they were going maybe at, 15, 18.
Yeah.
So that's the transgression. And that's why we're seeing so many great fighters these days. And that's why any promotion, is a good promotion as long as it really has the fighters back. One thing Brave does incredibly well is they brand their fighters really well. They market their fighters. If you go to Brave Combat Federation on the internet, follow them. You'll just see nothing but Brave. And it's highlighting their guys. It's highlighting the country. So I think there needs to be a shift in that for the fighters. Like if you're going to go with a promotion, hey, are you going to market me? Right? That's a fair question to ask.
This is very true.
How many posts will you make on me? I'm sorry. I have to build my brand.
I've got to shop around, right?
Yeah.
Part of the reason why we do this podcast is because we want to highlight these fighters before they ever get to the big stage.
Right.
I've said it numerous times. You will see guys, you won't have any idea who they are until they fight somebody who's of notable rank, and then they beat that guy.
Right.
They have to beat that person. And then everybody's like, who the hell is that? They shouldn't have beat so-and-so. Like, now let me go find out who they are. And then when you go find out, there's nothing.
Right.
There's nothing. You Google them. It's like the sure dog and tap out. And you're like, okay, I know they're 4-1, but I just found that out. Like, where are they from? Where is their background? How long have they been fighting? Like, who else have they fought? Like, so we want to highlight those careers and give these people, give them time so when they get to these promotions, they can say, hey, man, I've already got 30, 40,000 followers. I've already got 500,000 people following me. Like, what are you going to do for me?
Right.
Because I'm going to put my all on the line.
Here's what I'm going to do for you.
Guaranteed I'm going to put my all on the line.
Right.
So what are you going to do for me?
Right.
And I think that the same thing that with the gloves, it's been a very one-sided industry, right? Even with gloves, nobody gives fighters money for wearing gloves,
Right.
or for any contact gear. You know, it's you wear our stuff for free. We'll give it to you for free, and then we're gonna go post your picture everywhere and
make a lot of money off of it.
Yeah, we're not going to even offer you a check.
Yeah.
We're going to give you some stuff that cost us pennies to make.
Right.
And then we're going to expect the world from you.
Right.
Until you get knocked out or something bad happens. And then guess what? We're just going to cut you loose altogether.
Right.
You know, thanks.
Right.
Hands washed, we're done.
And that's to the public, right? Imagine having a job that if you had 3 bad days in your entire career, you'd be let go. Right?
Yeah, for real.
That's how it is. So 3 bad days, you're gone.
It's too late. You're out of here, buddy.
Yeah. Sometimes even 2 bad days, right?
Yeah.
So, man, in the stress the fighter has to go through with the diet and the conditioning.
Cutting weight, yes.
And by the way, everybody's hurt going into a fight. So their home life, right? Their wives have to be, or their husbands, whatever the case, have to be super supportive. Like the most supportive of any field, I think.
It's very lopsided.
It's lopsided, and they don't get the credit they deserve. They don't get the publicity. So that's why always from day one, I was like, man, I want to do whatever I can to uplift your career, to make you meeting me a better thing for you.
Exactly.
Right? Because I want, that's what life's all about, right?
Yep.
Spreading love, spreading joy, and getting each other higher.
I love it. It's been a give and take here, and we are absolutely grateful to all the fighters that have been on the show, that have come onto the show, that purchase our products, that support the YouTube channel, because this is for you guys. So every time we get a new like, we take that very seriously. We love our likes and we love our subscribers, and that's why we're going to continue to bring you guys the best content that we can, and bring you people like this man who's flying to Bahrain on blown out hips. Like, Lord. So we spoke a little bit about your daughter. We touched on that. You've got so much going on.
Yeah.
Your daughter is 6 now.
6.
And was she born blind?
She was. And this is interesting. She was born and they said 100% blind. Okay. And that's how they said it. I was like, what? That was how they broke the news. We have something to tell you.
Was that after birth or prior to?
Okay. After birth. We thought everything was fine. We took to a checkup and all that. And, and that's how they broke the news. And my wife and I were like, okay. Next plan, right? Plan of action. So
everything changes today.
So I taught her how to swim, and one day I put a water bottle at the side of the pool, and she went one day. She swam up, and she went and grabbed it, and I was like, "Wait a minute, Crimson!
Yeah, how the hell did you?
How did you do that?"
Yeah.
And then so I took a yoga ball. And I threw it. We have like a kind of a volleyball open court thing, and I threw it like 50 feet away, and it curved to the left. There's no way there was no sound to it.
Yeah.
I go, okay, Crims, go get the ball. Started out, boom, made a beeline for the ball. So then the doctor said, well, she can see out of one eye some shapes or some
light,
shades, objects, shades, whatever. So now there's something that we can actually build on. So again, it was an emotional moment, right? And they're like, yeah, all right. God works in incredible, amazing ways. And she's been the light of my life. You've met London?
Yes.
Who I brought here today.
Who is a absolute phenom. You guys are going to see this kid. I wish he was on camera, but he is like 7'6". And he's only 12 years old. So trust that you are going to hear the name London Kremer pretty soon, because he'll probably be slamming on some of your kids on the basketball court. So don't take it personal. His dad is Carlos Kremer, and he's been around MMA legends his entire life. So if he happens to slam on your child, just congratulate him and move on.
Thank you, Kelly. He's been incredible. He's played for a couple of different leagues now in his school team and just loving it. So, doesn't hurt when you're 6'1" in 6th grade.
I'm 6'1". It took me like 19 years to get there. You just did it out of the 6th grade. I'm so jealous. So how has it been just adjusting to having to adjust to having a child with special needs? Like, what was that like having having London, and then having to switch up and completely everything that you thought you
was
knew with
important.
parenting is now out the window.
Everything's out the window. She's 24/7 care, so she needs to either me, Tekka, London, with her during that time, and it's just a regrouping and saying, hey, it's all about her now. So we got to make life as easy for her and as fun and as challenging as we can, and it's brought us closer as a family, and we love our time together. Tekka, like I said, has been, man, this woman was probably, we were in hospitals 40 days last year. Okay. They're talking like 25 ambulance trips to the hospital. She would throw up for 7 to 10 days straight. Wow. Couldn't even have an ice chip. Okay. It was brutal. And endometriosis, women, I think 1 out of 5 women have it. Yeah. And man, men don't understand these problems. And I didn't. Damn sure don't. Before, but man, she had to get her uterus taken out, her cervix taken out, her appendix taken out, fallopian tubes taken out. I mean, it was a mess down there. So, knock on wood, we made it through. Yes. Love her to death. We also have to thank CHIPSA, which is a stem cell research. Ed Clay. Down there, and Scotty, I mean, they're amazing. So Joe Rogan talks about them as well. Tekka got millions and millions and millions of stem cells all over her body. Wow. I got her because they looked at her and she needed like 5 different operations, like little minor tears and ligaments all over her body. So this stem cell from CHIPSA is giving her a new life as well. And that's amazing. So it's amazing. Ed Clay, Scotty Nelson, CHIPSA, get in touch with me. I'll give you their information, or you can look them up and see and call them and say you're a friend. Now, your wife is an ex-model? Yeah. Yeah, so she is also Maxim model, 6 feet tall. Jamaican and Russian. Which is a hell of a combination. Yeah. I always said in my comedy routines, I was like, I'm just waiting for 6 feet of black dynamite to join me in my life. And then I brought her one day to a show, and the other comedians were like, hey, he got her. He got the dynamite. And she's like, wait, what are you talking about? Inside joke, babe. Don't worry about it. Yeah, so she's a former Maxim model. She's a former Miss World contestant. She former peace ambassador to Libya for relations between Libya and the USA, because Gaddafi fell in love with her when they had the show back there. How could you not fall in love with a 6'1" Jamaican Russian who spoke her mind too? He liked that she had a little fire under her, I bet. She really does. So yeah, and she was also a cop on CSI Miami for 4 years. So now... Not a dull moment in the Kremer house, huh? Check her out, Tekka Thompson on Instagram. She does shout out Tekka. Farm-to-table organic gardening, and she also does she's like the bamboo queen. She'll build anything out of bamboo. Wow. And we have a pretty big, over an acre in Escondido. So she's always building stuff. And how do you learn how to build stuff out of bamboo? Like, is that She grew up kind of in a construction family. Wow. So yeah, they were building things. And, man, you guys, this is an interesting household, people. Yeah. I have got to go over there and spend some time. This sounds like fun. Anytime. This sounds like fun. So what is next? You've got so much going on. We're going to go make history in France with Brave soon. But what is next? What is on your plate? What is Carlos Kremer looking to achieve next? Next, we're going to Colombia. So I'll be leaving to Colombia beginning of August. Wow. We're going to Bogota again, which you want to talk about hungry MMA fans. They're incredible. Yeah. Lines around the block just to get in hours before the show. Wow. So we're going back there. We like to show our... Brave is really going to some places that most people wouldn't even venture to go on a normal person would want to go to. Right. Yeah, it's really incredible. It's great for marketing. It's great for, the fighters. It's great for the community. So that's first Colombia, and then we're going to get over to France. So that's good. Now, you guys doing something special for that one as a result of it being the 29th and record, history? Probably. Yeah. I would imagine. Yeah. They do it up. So we'll see what's going on for that, but it's going to be big. Now, you always have the best digs. I mean, you come to the ring suited and booted. So do you have something special for that? Are you getting something specially made for that one? There will be. Okay. Tekka orders all my suits. Okay. And she does all that stuff. Okay. And I just kind of yay or nay them. Okay. But initially I'll say, I don't know. And then like a day later, I go, I kind of like that. I kind of like it. So I always wear them anyway. Okay. But yes, she has something special. We're going to we're gonna get some like cool shoes and whatnot, and glittery, glammy, you know.
Yeah, you got to do it up the Roaring Lion style.
You got to. You got to. Yeah. And it's kind of cool that that nickname came to me. I didn't nickname myself. The Middle East caught a show and then another show, and they're like, he sounds like a lion. He's roaring like a lion. And then because I really totally get into it,
completely.
But so it couldn't be a better life for me. I mean, with all the things God has given us, all the challenges, I'm just blessed, man. I'm blessed with all the health problems I've had. And I got hit at a stop sign coming home from Bahrain from a month. A mile away from home, I got hit by a car going like 40 miles an hour, a drunk kid. And then he backed it up, took off, hit another car, took off again. So they caught him. He's charged.
Wow.
He's doing time, but that jacked my already, body that has been jacked up through the years from various things up even more. So,
now what do you think? What do you think is taking more of a toll, the military or martial arts?
I think martial arts has. Yeah.
Are you still training actively?
I haven't since the car accident. Okay. I haven't been able to train. Okay. I can train by just watching, learning, doing basic things, but I can't really do what I did before. I'm hoping one day I can. Okay. So I'm going to therapy, physical therapy, and all that, and trying cold plunges and all that stuff.
Putting the kids into martial arts at all? Are they interested?
He's grappled with me since birth, really, for a long time. And we
indirectly.
Yeah, and we always had like a little thing like, hey, I'll give you $1 anytime you can mount me type thing growing up. So he's always been quick, like Kato jumps out on the Pink Panther, right? Yeah, he'll come out of nowhere. So and
he's before like, I need some candy, Dad. Guess what?
Yeah,
it's armbar time.
Before I got hurt, we upped it to 5. So it even gave him more incentive to jump me whenever.
Now, is that safe to have a 6'1" kid jumping you?
Who's 230?
Yeah.
Yeah, not generally, not for the timid. But
it's like having a grown man just beat you down every time, at your own house.
Yeah.
Like that.
It's great, though. He's so comfortable with the ground now, which is great.
That's awesome.
I wish I had more of that growing up.
Plus the balance, and that gives him balance and patience.
Yeah.
In his other sports.
Yeah.
So.
And I played football, rugby, boxed.
So this is where all the damage comes from.
Right, but I had never done anything like Jiu Jitsu, right? It was so intriguing to me because I was like, man, it's like 90% of fights wind up on the ground, right? Mm-hmm. And not knowing the ground is a weakness. So I was like, let's learn as much as we can, and the more you learn in that, right, the more you realize you don't know.
I think Jiu Jitsu is
never ending.
Jiu Jitsu is in the MMA sector. I've said it numerous times. I'll say it again. I think Jiu Jitsu is going to be one of the fastest growing aspects of MMA. It's one of the little known pieces that is so important. But to the average person who, thinks that they know martial arts, jiu-jitsu is not even on your radar.
Right.
It wasn't on my radar until I started really watching MMA. I heard about it and you've seen it, but I'm like, who wants to go get down and roll around on the ground? But now it's like chess with body parts.
Yep.
And you make the wrong move and again, it's gone.
And it's like folding laundry with body parts.
With body parts in them, yes.
So, and man, we have like out here, my master is Carlos Valente, who's a coral belt.
Yes, one of the only coral belts.
Yeah, big supporter of Epic. I've been with him for years, and he got me with Eduardo who's the turtle master. He's the first guy to give up his back and, have people jump on it and have the wrong angle, and then he turned it into a positive for him.
Got it.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
But in training like, 10th Planet with Boogeyman Martinez and his brother Gio and Bill Crawford, Manilo Hernandez. Shout out to 99 Jiu Jitsu. Shout out to Jeff Glover, Dean Lister, Victory MMA.
So many guys out here.
It's such a great community, and
San Diego is
these guys are
very well kept secret in this community.
It really is, and when you meet with these guys and you train with them too, that you realize how humble they are.
Yeah, they are. They are all very humble.
There's nothing to prove.
I was literally just watching a podcast with Jocko Willink last night.
Yeah.
And just thinking this guy is literally down the street. These guys are touchable.
I remember, funny story. Dean was at a party that I was at. The girl was throwing that I was dating. And So I'm out there and somebody comes up to me and says, "Oh, hey, Carlos, there's like 4 guys out at the front door. They're pretty upset that the music's too loud." And I go, "No problem. I'll go talk to them."
Like, uh-oh.
So Dean Lister goes, "Hey, Los, no problem. I'll go with you." And all of a sudden I went from, "Okay, I'll go talk to him," to, yeah, we'll go have a chat outside. I walk outside with Dean, and he's pretty much built like
he's a fighter.
A caveman, right, with the big hands and forearms and all that. And these guys just scurried, just ran. They didn't even want to talk about it.
Yeah. Switch the track.
But funny Dean story. He's he's a living legend out here.
Yes, he is. Yep.
And Victory's blessed to have a lot of those great guys.
Yeah, in and out. Dominic Cruz. I mean, there's so many legends running in and out of Victory.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. But shout out to Jocko too.
Yeah.
For leading and inspiring so many people, right? And we've all got that in us, and he's great at bringing that out. He was a Navy SEAL, right?
And I was the podcast I was watching was specific to a topic, and it was a topic that I had been trying to grasp, and listening to him describe it made it very easy.
Yeah.
He's really good at taking the basics, which like most SEALs are, taking what's on their plate,
right,
figuring out what we need, what we don't need,
right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And dealing with what we need and getting the job done as most and efficiently as possible with the least amount of resistance.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
So that was, when he said it, it clicked in my head. Like, I was like, oh, wait a minute, that makes a lot of sense. Like, okay, I think I can now hold on to that. And so shout out to Jocko Willink for helping me through my little personal issue yesterday. You didn't even know you did it. Your podcaster booming, bud.
More than he knows. More than he knows. It's amazing.
So, obviously you've got a ton of things to do. I don't know. I imagine in the next time we have you on, you'll probably have 20 more things going on. I know that we're talking about locally for the San Diego community. We are in some really some initial discussions about trying to get a Jiu Jitsu type event. Very similar to MMA. We want to make that a Jiu Jitsu tournament, sort of like the Fight to Win type deals, and having Carlos's name attached to that, and then being able to give you guys another platform to be able to come in, win some money, get some exposure, and also promote the jiu-jitsu world as well. Because I think that there needs to be more jiu-jitsu events. I think people need to see them.
Definitely, and they've blown up. I mean, back 10, 15 years ago, there weren't any jiu-jitsu events.
None. Yeah,
they couldn't make money doing that, but now. Man, I remember when Carlos Valente came to San Diego, and Rodrigo Medeiros and maybe another guy. There was like 3 schools only in San Diego. Now there's only over 100.
Yeah, so
over 100.
We have Atos literally right down the street from us.
Yep. Andre Galvo.
Yeah.
Incredible guy.
Incredible guy. We've got to get. We're scheduled to get him on the show too. We've got so many people we want to bring you guys, but the talent is just so stacked. It's hard to get everybody organized and in one place at one time because most of the people in this community are consistently giving back to the community on a daily basis. So they don't have a lot of time in their own lives for themselves or their wives or their families, as you were saying, because they're constantly trying to give back to the next guy and constantly trying to give the sport a better name and a better, more exposure. And shout out to all of the fighters. Shout out to all of you guys. You guys are very individual creatures and they're built different.
Right. Definitely.
Fighters are definitely built different. And you would think with people who spend so much time operating in a violent environment, when you actually get a chance to sit down and talk to them one-on-one, they are some of the most funniest, most open-minded, down-to-earth, calmest people on the planet.
Yeah.
But they can flip that switch in a heartbeat. But I admire that in them because they are also humble. None of them, I've met, you would think most of them would be very arrogant and cocky. I've met, in my travels, I've met maybe 3.
Yeah.
That were just over arrogant and cocky.
Yeah.
And I've watched them get demolished too.
Right.
So every single one of them.
Yeah. And it's like the tougher a guy is, the more he knows, the less, he has to prove too. Right. And imagine living a life with no fear. It's a different perspective that they have. And that's why it's so engaging and so funny to get their opinions on things, right? Because they'll just say whatever it is without any restrictions they're weird. It's fantastic.
I tell my daughter, because you go to the weigh-ins, some of these fights, this is the most, some of these guys are fighting for titles and it's very serious, their records, and they take their records seriously, but they'll come in SpongeBob SquarePants,
right?
Pajama pants,
Manolo Hernandez,
with
Alima
fanny packs
McFarland,
on, their fingernails painted, they're such characters, and they have, like you said, they've been able to shed what society's vision of what they should be.
Right.
Yeah.
Have fun, do what you love, be your own person, and let's all win together.
Yeah, I love it. Is there anybody you want to give shots out to? Anybody you want to give some special love to before we go?
Again, just want to give love to my family, because without them, it would not be possible at all. Yes. So proud of my wife, so proud of my daughter, my son, London. We love you. We love you, Lulu, Mama Lulu.
Love you.
It's been incredible. And man, just an honor to be here, brother, and look forward to coming back and filling you in.
Definitely.
After France.
Yes,
let's do that.
We've got to do France, and then let's try and see if we can't get something more, something scheduled like every 2 or 3 months that we come in and just touch base and talk about the new fighters coming out of Brave and who we should keep our eye on. Awesome. And maybe if we can get some of those guys, if they happen to, land in San Diego, I'd be more than happy to get them on the show.
Fantastic.
Let's get them on the show. Let's get them out there and get them exposed.
Love it. Callie, it's been a pleasure, my brother.
Appreciate you, my guy. Thank you so much.
Always.
Guys, you have seen episode 13 or 14. I'm not sure which one it is, but it's one of those. Thank you guys for coming out again. If you haven't already, please go to the website, purchase the merchandise. Today's secret code for 50% off the merchandise is going to be Roaring Lion. So if you go to the website, you put in Roaring Lion, you will get 50% off all merchandise for the next 48 hours. Other than that, please make sure you go follow this man. Did you have something?
I wanted to give a special shout out. We had said Fightbook MMA is the awards that they've had. So it's 6 times in a row with them. I want to give Roberto Villa and Fightbook MMA, all their staff, big shout outs, because they're elevating the fight game and combat sports and giving the exposure to all the athletes that we talked about. From boxing to Jiu Jitsu to MMA. It's fantastic.
And it's important.
Fightbook MMA, Roberto, keep up the incredible job.
Shout out to Fightbook. You guys, if you guys have any information, anybody you guys want to see on the show, anything you want us to talk about or any comments, please leave a comment. We will definitely comment back to you. Go ahead and click the like and subscribe button. It's free to do. Doesn't cost you any money, and you will get notified anytime we upload new content. With that, this has been the Luxury and Mayhem Podcast, episode 14. We are out.